僕の名前はアストルフォ。
Fallout New Vegas is all about player choice. It differs from Fallout 3, which forces you to play as an enemy of the Enclave. They were driven out of the West by the Chosen One in the NCR in Fallout 2, so they are not available to join as a faction in New Vegas. But what if they secretly remained in the Mojave? This is the premise of the For the Enclave mod. With it installed, I beat Fallout New Vegas as a member of the Enclave. The quest doesn't start until you reach level 10, so we're gonna get to exploring. I killed this Night Stalker and became vilified with the Powder Gangers. Maybe one of them had the Animal Friend perk? I'm using Hitman's animation for the 9mm SMG, and pulling out the stock is so satisfying. When I got to Prim, I gunned down an NCR trooper and got a Star Model B from him. It's basically an M1911 chambered in 9mm. It's notable for being the gun Samuel L. Jackson's character used in Pulp Fiction. After saving Beagle and installing Prim Slim as sheriff, I found a Chinese machine pistol. I would normally be ecstatic to use this, but I can't use a dirty commie gun in this playthrough. Traveling across the dry lake, I encountered an NCR hit squad. This one with an AR was shredding me. They were spread out from fighting ants, so I took out the most threatening one first. There was actually another one with the same rifle, but they were far enough away that I could sneak attack them. It's a Mark 18, and it's added by the Wasteland ARs pack. Its DPS is super high. The level list should probably be adjusted to make it not spawn so early. I remembered I had gotten enough lockpick to get lucky, so I went back to the Bison Steve and picked it up. On the way to Nipton, I found an NCR prospector that had looted a suit of power armor off a Brotherhood soldier. I head over to Crescent Canyon because there's a player home I can store my power armor at. It's added by Ray V12's Train Car Hideout mod. It has a reloading bench, which is very convenient. And it doesn't even take a loading screen to get into. Since it's a part of the Mojave Wasteland and not an interior cell, you can fast travel from inside it too. At level 8, I get my Silencer repair up to 40, which allows us to get the Power Armor training perk. I got a mod that does this because it's such a pain to get it in vanilla. The Brotherhood quest is one of the worst, and the only other way to get it requires you to get a companion. I went back and picked up the power armor, and now the NCR is hostile automatically because it's Brotherhood armor. That's fine because I've been shooting them on sight anyway. These Californian secessionists must be crushed. I killed the geckos by Novak and reached level 10. Now we can start the Enclave questline. There are multiple locations in the Mojave that trigger the start, but Goodsprings Cemetery is the easiest because you can fast travel to it. A vertibird flies down from the sky, and we are greeted by Lieutenant Jackson.
Allow me to introduce myself. I am Lieutenant Jackson.
200 years of seclusion somehow caused him to develop a British accent. Huh. In all seriousness, I was originally put off by the British voice actors. But if Melissa of the Great Khans can have a New Zealand accent, I guess this is fine. Jackson says the general wants to talk to us. We board the vertibird and it flies us to Henderson Bunker. The first thing I do when I get there is explore the place. This guy sounds like he's trying to do an impression of Joe from Family Guy. The character with the worst voice actor is probably Colonel Dornan Jr.
Someone escort this semi-off government property now!
Sounds like he's a teenager trying to yell quiet enough so he doesn't wake his parents up. Meeting General Jameson, he explains that the Enclave has splintered into different groups. His faction wants to help the people of the Wasteland instead of destroying them. It's cool to see a version of the Enclave that isn't evil, though I've been playing evilly expecting them to be. Their rival in the Mojave is the Richardson Elite, which follows a more fundamentalist ideology. They are going to be our main enemy. After enlisting with the General, the Quartermaster gives us Enclave power armor. Her voice actor is good, she sounds like she could be a vanilla character. Our first assignments are to help Chief Air Marshal Swanson. He wants us to recover black boxes from crashed vertibirds and scout out a refueling station. The first vertibird is by Black Mountain. Before going to the other places, I decide to head to Boulder City. On the way there, I gave the Lonesome Drifter a 5.56 round in exchange for his mysterious Magnum. When I got there, I killed the cons, but I didn't save the NCR troopers. They can deal with that themselves. The second vertibird crashed near the Mojave outpost. The refueling station is in the northwestern part of the map. Before going there, I bought an FN F2000. When I got inside, I was attacked by robots that were glitching out like crazy. The models were amalgamated. After clearing them out, we head back to the bunker. General Jameson tasks us with recovering a stealth suit from an EPA lab. If there's an EPA, does that mean Nixon was president at some point in Fallout World? Maybe he won the 1960 election, and that factors into the 50s not culturally ending somehow. Anyway, a Chinese spy infiltrated the lab before the war, and we're supposed to go see if the suit is still there. Before leaving, I check out the quartermaster's inventory, and she has a Colt 2033. I didn't know there was a hole to pee out of in power armor. The Colt 2033 is an M1911 Gauss pistol. The mod is super fitting for an Enclave run. When I get to the EPA lab, it's dark, and I keep hearing loud snarls. I get to the lab section, and it's lit up. The main thing the government was researching here was trees that didn't need sunlight to grow. Obviously, that would be useful for vaults. The trees worked, but they were radioactive. They had been using convicts to test their effect on humans. The researchers discovered the spy and locked him in with the trees to prevent him from escaping. The only way for us to get in there is to disable the power. Of course, that means plunging the facility into darkness and releasing the ghoulified test subjects. They're creepy because their eyes glow in the dark. I wish there were more mods that added horror-like sections to New Vegas. I played this one mod, Beyond the Boundaries, that added new locations. It was super unfinished and buggy, but there were two really cool horror segments. In one, you get trapped in an insane asylum and fight a mad doctor, and in the other you have to escape a facility with an invincible Resident Evil style creature chasing you. I coincidentally played it around Halloween, which was pretty cool. Back to this mod, we get inside the tree room and the Chinese spy attacks us. After killing him and taking his suit, we leave and are confronted by the Richardson elite. The mysterious Magnum puts them down. Taking the suit back to Henderson, General Jameson says they will reverse engineer it. In the meantime, this ghoul lady wants us to go grab some discs from a Robco facility. It's by the Gunrunners, so I stop by and pick up an M1 Garand and give it a very patriotic skin. The factory has a nasty raider infestation, so we gotta do some fumigating. Back at Henderson, they've reverse engineered the suit, and Jameson gives us a working one. He wants us to go on a stealth mission to Searchlight Airport, which has been occupied by the Richardson elite. We enter through the sewer and disable their turrets. Then our allies come in to confront the enemy. Only one Enclave soldier survived, so we had a ton of stuff to loot. After the fight, the air marshal shows up, and they set up a base at the airport. The next thing we have to do is check up on the facilities we visited earlier. They've all been occupied by some kind of enemies. The Robco facility has robots now. I don't know how they got in here. At the Vertebrs station, some spiders moved in. They kept spawning behind me and jump scaring me. The last place we have to go back to is the EPA lab. Richardson elite are inside and they started deploying controlled deathclaws, but their Gauss rifles are the real problem. I had a couple of soldier allies, so I kept to the shadows and sneakily took out the enemies. After revisiting those places, the general says they've found the Richardson elite bunker. We're sent to go check it out with Operative Killian. There are no soldiers at all in the base, only robots. Turns out the reason it's empty is because they're about to stage a desperate attack on Henderson. The game doesn't allow us to fast travel directly to the bunker. We have to fast travel to a location near it. Approaching to the base, we heard laser fire. Richardson elite are already inside, so we enter. We have tons of allies inside, so taking back the bunker is easy peasy. After the fight, Operative Scully tells us the Brotherhood of Steel and the NCR are making demands, and we need to go negotiate with them. Before exiting the bunker, I get Operative Killian because he's now available to be a companion. The Brotherhood demands we hand over our leaders for war tribunals. With the skill magazine, I persuaded her to make a deal, and she said they would take 5 laser rifles instead. That's it? 5 laser rifles? That's enough to make you not see the Enclave as a threat anymore? Well, okay, I guess. You would think we could just ask the general for laser rifles since it's such a small number, and peace with the Brotherhood hinges on it. But no, we have to find them ourselves. I hate quests like this. Seems like modders put them in as fluff. It should have been that they leave us alone if we gave them a steady supply of equipment. And we'd have to convince the general to accept it or something. There's a free laser rifle in the player home in the bunker. Oh yeah, I didn't mention that was a thing. It's inconvenient because you have to walk through the whole bunker to get to it. The train car has a fast travel point right outside it. There's 2 more laser rifles in the base that are marked as stealing. There's still a laser rifle laying around from the Richardson elite. I went to check Searchlight Airport to look for another laser rifle, but didn't find one. The NCR envoy is there and he is easily talked down with speech. Weird that they send the person vilified by the NCR to negotiate with them. There was a Richardson Elite soldier in Henderson with a Watts 2000 laser rifle, which is added by a mod. Since it would have been a normal laser rifle without the mod, I decided it would be fair to spawn in the last one. These kinds of quests are dumb anyway. I give the BOS the rifles and they go away. After dealing with that, I go back to General Jameson and he says it's time for the final confrontation with the Richardson Elite. They've holed up in an old Chrysalis factory and we're going to defeat them once and for all. We take a vertebra to a tunnel that leads to the factory. Since we helped with all those extra locations earlier, we have robots, controlled deathclaws, and vertebirds to help in the fight. As we exit the tunnel, the fight is on. There are a bunch of cars on the road, so we have to be wary of them exploding. We fight through trenches and reach the office building. It has a bunker where the leader is hiding. Advancing down into it, we find a new Frank Horrigan. He's not the main threat, surprisingly, because there are snipers in the catwalks. I took them out stealthily and unloaded my Gauss pistol into the Neo Frank, putting him down. Deeper in the bunker, we finally meet General Rowlinson, the leader of the Richardson Elite. Rowlinson? Then who's Richardson? He rigged the place to explode and ran off to the back of the bunker. Luckily, we just have to walk over to his desk and press a button to turn off the bomb. He staged his last stand from inside a pillbox, but I shot him through the hole and put it into the old man. He had a scoped .44 Magnum called the Kami Hunter. We returned to Jameson and completed the main story of For the Enclave. We unlocked a box with all the armors in the mod, and Scully tells us to go to the old Henderson bunker. They've placed the bunker under our control. It's like a base building minigame. You pay caps to build stuff and wait time for resources to be collected. I messed with it a little, but I've never been into this sort of thing. Feels like a mobile game. Since we completed the story of the mod, it's time to finish the base game story. I head to the tops and massacre the chairman and take the chip. While I'm there, I decide to break into the casino vault head on. The key is on a desk in the money room. We can take the elevator and one of the guards has an LMG with armor-piercing rounds. He deals out a lot of damage, so I shoot him a bit and then hide behind a filing cabinet to heal up. After the guards, there are still 2 locked doors, one by terminal and one traditional. There are safes full of caps and NCR dollars, and 2 gold bars I make Killian carry. At the Lucky 38, the game doesn't recognize Killian as a companion, so he comes up with me to the penthouse, and also to the basement. Man, he wants to get out of here as much as I do. I go to the fort and upgrade the Securitrons. Killian also follows me into Caesar's tent. Next we go to the boomers, and we raise the bomber with only a few Cazador stings. At this point I get sick of Mr. House and disable him. I then do a quest for Caesar's Legion and head to the White Gloves. But instead of cooperating with them like Caesar wants, I save Ted Gunderson. That leaves only Yes Man to side with. We still have 2 factions we need to meet for him, so I travel to Red Rock Canyon. A Khan threatened me, so I killed all the ones that were outside and went to Hidden Valley. I helped the BOS with the Ranger and returned to Yes Man. Now it's time for the final battle at Hoover Dam. The Garand tore through the Legion until the Securitron point-blanked me right in the back with a missile. After starting again, I installed Yes Man and proceeded to the Legate's camp. Against the Legate and Oliver, I used the Anti-Armor Rifle, a 50 BMG rifle based on the Sten gun. Weird, I know. It's from the Another Millennium mod, which is getting an update soon. With that, the run is over, and we can only speculate how the Enclave will impact an independent Mojave. Will they take it over? Will they restore America? We can only hope. I'd like to thank Songs for the Folk for letting me use his great Over There cover, and of course all the viewers for watching. Subscribe for more F&V challenges. I also plan on making Starfield challenges, so look out for those too.